G'day everyone, it's Brad Flynn here, and we're going to look at the six fastest ways to find more cash in your business today without spending a cent. And we're going to use my online portal that's been tested by hundreds of businesses around the world that in the end is going to generate you a report with how much cash you're leaving on the table and where to find it and how to get it into your bank account fast. So not going to mess around too much. A quick bit of background so as you know where this comes from. I used to be part of the #1 business coaching firm in the world called Action Coach, and they came up with a policy of they guarantee we will find our fee with your business within 17 weeks. In other words, we'll grow your business by enough to cover the cost of your investment in coaching, or they'll work with you for free until they do. So when they suggested this, I needed a way to work out how am I going to make this happen? And you can see my beautiful daughter in the background there, tapping away at her laptop. I'm an ex-engineer, so I went away and looked at all the strategies in business that apply to the most number of businesses to find a way that would create this system that could consistently find my fee. And as a result, I actually wrote a book on it called Find Your Cash, which I'll tell you a bit about at the end of it. But this system has then gone on. It's been since 2019. It's been used in more than 250 reports around the world in all the countries you've listed there. And this is the thing, business is business wherever you are in the world. The strategies that work here work in any business, and it works across all industries. More specifically, I'm based in Australia, and I can give you some local data on what's been happening here. We've done more than 140 reports on a bunch of different businesses that range in size from 50,000 to more than 11 million in annual revenue. So it doesn't really depend on what size your business is. It's going to find you extra cash. It doesn't matter what your currency is. We've done it in all of those countries above. And so far, out of all of those, we've found an extra $64 million in extra cash for the Australian businesses alone. So hopefully that's enough to get you a little bit excited. And on average, it finds more than $100,000 per business. And that's my goal in working with you today. So here's the thing about cash to your business is like oxygen to your body. You run out of cash in your business and you die. This tool is there to help you find any cash you're leaving on the table so you can quickly get it into your bank account. So let's start. What we're going to do to begin with is where you can access this portal. I'm going to give you the details of that now. If you go to findyourcash.global/join us, join-us, and you're going to use the code uppercase FYCFYR. All right, so I'm going to show you where this is. That's where you can get the book on Amazon. But we want to go to, if you go to findyourcash.global, join us, you're going to see the Find Your Cash roadmap. Normally this is $147 if you don't have the code. So we're going to enter that code down here, FYCFR. Now you're going to have access to this system for 7 days. You can press the apply coupon and it will tell you it's a valid coupon. Press OK and then do buy now. And it will take you through to the page where you can register your details, okay? So you can put in here your own information. So this is an old version here that I've had. We can take that out. Choose your own username, choose your own password, and then put your email details in so you register for the system. Put your first name and your last name, and then hit register. So I'm going to jump across to one that I've already set up. So through the magic of the internet, here's one that I prepared earlier. So once you've logged in, this is what it's going to look like on the inside. We're going to look at only a couple of these tabs today. You can jump in and look at the other ones. There's how-to videos in each of them. So enter in your name, your company name. As I said, it's called a case study. What your business is, because there's benchmarking data that may be relevant for you here. How many team you've got, your country, and don't worry about these bits down here as well. These are the only bits we can take these out that you need to run this system, and by the time you watch this, these parts might actually not be here. So next we want to put in some information for your business. So with this particular business, I'm going to use a business to keep the numbers simple that has $1 million in revenue, $500,000 in cost of sales, and $300,000 in operating, which gives us operating expenses, which will give us a profit of $200,000. Now remember, we're going to look to find an extra $100,000 with this particular business, and it depends on your business. But I'm going to step you through step by step how you actually do this. So let's rip in. So let's go through the strategies. First of all, quick cash strategy number 1. Increase your prices. You're worth it. Here's the thing. Most people are too scared to put up their prices, but there's an interesting thing that happens. And in the book, I talk about a story from, there's a guy called Robert Cialdini who wrote this book here, Influence. It's Psychology of Persuasion. It's one of the best books on sales there's ever been. And he tells the story of a little shop that had these small, trinkety looking little rings that they were selling at their store that they couldn't get rid of. And he left a note for the shop assistant to put a new price on them, to discount them, and put them in a special tray out the front. Now, what happened was that the person who was updating the prices misread the price the owner had put on them. And instead of putting $4.50, they put $45 per one of these rings. They put the specials out the front. And lo and behold, the next day the business owner came in and they'd all sold. Why was that? You see, the funny thing is, people will value things that they see as the most expensive because we somehow associate with the most expensive being the best. So if you're going to put your prices up, maybe go for being the most expensive. I don't know. That's up to you. We're going to look at some small increases here. But the best thing about putting your price up is that what it tends to do is get rid of your D grade customers, the people who whinge and complain, your C and your Ds. They were probably going to leave anyway because they're never happy. So the other person who has the biggest problem with your price increase is usually you, the owner, all right? So we want to make sure that you've got some kind of a sales process that demonstrates the value, because as soon as someone asks you what your price is, you're kind of gone. You haven't been able to demonstrate your value to a prospect, okay? So making sure you've got a solid sales process is going to actually help offset any increase in price that you've got that you're looking for. Now, it depends on your business, but stay with me. We're going to show you how some little tweaks can make a big difference. The next two strategies we're going to look at are reducing your cost of sales or cost of goods sold and your fixed expenses. Now, these may seem pretty obvious, but most people don't realize the impact that this can actually have. So, what we're looking for in dealing with our suppliers, and whether they're supplying our goods and services or even our team, is a principle that I call win-win or no deal. Now, here in Australia, we have a guy who wrote a book called Barefoot Investor, and I'm not going to cover some of the things he has in this book, but I would recommend that you get it because he's got some fantastic scripts that you can use to go back to people who you're dealing with, suppliers and so forth, and ask for a better price. In fact, one of my clients followed my advice, and this is a special message from him. And this is what he said when he applied this strategy. Thanks for the invite to join, Brad. You do good work and make a real positive difference. I enjoyed reading your book. Congrats and well done. He said, I've implemented one of your ideas this week. I asked my suppliers for better pricing, which they've given me, and from that, he saved $65,000 a year at his current expenditure. And it's that simple. Just go back to your suppliers and ask them for a better price. So whether it's your mobile phone supplier, people who supply your cost of goods, even your landlord, just asking for a price can make a better price, can make a massive difference. So with that in mind, let's plug in some numbers now. Let's go back to your particular situation. So we've entered our data in from our first tab. And now we've come across, and we're going to start increasing some little changes. And I'm going to suggest we're going to put our prices up by 5%. We're going to go back, and let's say we can get our suppliers to just cut our cost of goods sold by 3%. And we review our overheads, so things like phone bills and that. And let's say we can get a 2% cut in there. So I'm going to be super conservative. Put whatever numbers you think are relevant that you can do for your business. You'll notice all this information is carried through. But in this particular business, 5% increase in prices, 3% reduce in COGS, and a 2% reduction in overhead is $71,000 extra cash. That's an increase of 36% profit. Let's be a little bit more adventurous. What if we got 5% reduction in COGS? And what if we got 5% reduction in our overheads? There's $90,000. Now, whatever the numbers are for your business, you'll know this better than me. If you don't think you can put something in, say you don't have COGS, okay, put 0% in. If you can do 5% on your sales price and 5% on your overheads, that's still an extra 65 grand in this instance. So for this exercise, I'm going to say 3% in COGS and 2% in fixed expenses. Now, There's our first 3 strategies. Now it's time to move on to our next 3. Quick cash strategy number 4. Stop discounting. Do you discount? Here's the problem with discounting. Let's imagine we buy something to sell for $100. Now maybe we pay someone $100 per hour or per half day or something, and then we add a markup to it, or a margin, right? There's a difference between the two, as you'll see in a minute. So let's say we sell this thing for $150, all right? Our costs are $100. Now, Mr. Person who wants a discount comes along and he says, oh, well, how about a 10% discount? Now, here's where it gets ugly. If, in this instance, we give a 10% discount, here's the thing. It actually comes off the whole price, but you pay for it out of your margin, and you actually cut your margin by 30%. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. So that's giving a big chunk of money out of your pocket. Conversely, talking about increasing prices, take a look at this. What if you put your 10% price up increase? So you go from $150 to $165, you actually grow your margin by 30%. So fundamentally, you're just making more cash. Let's now have a look at the numbers again. Let's go back and see the implications for discounting on your business. We're going to go through to our strategies tab now, okay? So in this instance here, let's say we are discounting on 10% of our jobs. So 1 in 10 jobs we discount on. And our particular discount rate is 10%. Now, you'll know in your business, how often are you discounting? You know, maybe you're doing 50% of the time doing discounts and you're giving it 20%. I don't know. But whatever it is you think for your business, the first thing is, out of every 10 jobs, how much you're discounting, and turn it into a percentage. And then what is your average discount percentage? Okay, so 10% and 10% is the example I'm using here. Quick cash strategy number 5, margins. Markup and margin are not the same. And this one I see costing business owners a fortune. Like I showed in that example before, if you buy something for $100 and you sell it for $150, a lot of people think that the markup, which is 50 out of 100, is the margin, or the fancy word they get to keep. Margin is just the fancy word you get to keep. They think they're making 50%. But here's the fact. What you get to keep the margin is $50 out of $150. So that's only 33%. And I see this with business owners who use software to do markups. They think they're making, a classic example the other day, I had a client who thought he was marking things up 20%. He thought that was what his margin was. It didn't tell him anywhere in the software what was going on. Fact is, he was only making about 15% margin, whereas he thought the industry standard was at 20%. He was leaving a bunch of money on the table. In this instance, your margin is actually 34% less than what you thought it was. So making sure you understand the difference is key. Now, the 80-20 rule states that, and this is an important business concept, 20% of your customers will give you 80% of your margin or your profit. So 20%, the blue bit, give you the majority of the cash you have in your business. In fact, it's a universal principle. 20% of the roads in any city will carry 80% of the traffic. What about 20% of your customers will give you 80% of your hangovers and your hang-ups and your problems, not your hangovers, your problem customers. So we need to work out which are our clients, our products, or our services that are giving us the most amount of money. And it's always there. Doing a study on your figures to know where do you make the most money, and then focusing on selling more of those things is crucial. Now, there's a nun, her name's Sister Irene Krauss, and she said she was involved with fundraising and charities and so forth, and she knew this. She actually had a saying, no margin, no mission. So if you're not making enough margin on your particular product or service, time to get wise on that. So let's jump back and have a look at your numbers. So let's say you're making a particular thing and you know that what percentage of your sales, let's say for every 100 sales you make, and I've got 24, let's make it 25 to make the numbers a bit easier to understand. 1 in 4, 25% of our sales is of our highest margin product or service, where we make the most money. If you're not sure how to do this, you need to watch some of my other videos and work it out. And let's say, for instance, the margin, the fancy word for what we get to keep, is like I had in that example, 33%. So we're buying something for 100, we're selling it for 150. That means we've got a 33% margin. And then also, what if we focused on selling, and I've got 15% there, if you knew you were making more money on a particular product or service, could you do 15% more in sales on selling just more of these? And that's the number that I've got in here. So when we run the report, you're going to see the difference that can make. Okay, so for now, let's jump back to our strategies for your business. Have a think about where are you selling things that make you the most money? How much of it overall of your sales does it make up? What is the margin? And if you focused on that particular thing, how much extra could you sell? Quick cash strategy number 6. We're nearly there. Follow-ups. This is where I see so many businesses leaving money on the table. The fortune is in the follow-up. Now, here's a postcard I got from a friend many years ago when I first started this business journey. And this is actual facts. When I've seen this played out and time again, 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. Is that you? You do a quote and never follow up and assume the person's going to come back to you. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and then they stop. 12 actually go to the length of 3 and then they stop. Only 10% of people in sales make more than 3 contacts. And here's the kicker, because guess what? Only 2% of sales are made on the first contact. So the chance of actually getting a sale, if 48% of people never follow up and 2% of sales made on the first contact, a lot of money on the table. 3% of sales made on the second contact. 5 on the third contact. Are you making at least 3 contacts in the sales process, which what I talked about before, or are you not? 10% of sales are made on the 4th contact, and I talk about this in the book. 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. Do you have a sales process that you have at least 5 contact points in there? You know, first contact, send them an information package, follow up that they got the information package, ask them some questions about what they're looking before you send them a price. So let's have a look at your numbers. What impact will follow-ups have? So let's say if you had a rock solid follow-up system, would it be possible for you to get an extra 10% of business by just following up some of the quotes that you're doing for your business? Most people would say yes, okay? So with that in mind, let's now look at our top 6 strategies and how much extra cash we've been leaving on the table. To do that, we go up to view report. Now, when you click this, the system's going to go away and do some number crunching, and it's going to generate your report for your business on your figures that you put in at the start. So here we go. Increase our prices. We said 5%. We looked at these before. That's an extra $50,000 each year, or an extra $4,166 per month. Stop discounting. There's $5,000 worth of money you're just giving away. So if we add that $5,000 to our total, we're now at $55,000 or $416 extra per month. This last column is cumulatively. How much extra cash per month can we be making? What would you do with an extra $4,500 cash each month? Our next strategy, what if we went back to our suppliers and just asked them for a better price, like Michael did in our case study? In the numbers we've used here, you put in your numbers, the report will tell you. Now we're up to an extra 15 or 70,000 or an extra $5,000 a month, cutting our fixed expenses by 2%. That's an extra 6,000. And then focusing on selling more of our higher margin goods or services like we talked about. That's an extra $12,000. All these little tweaks add up. One of the biggest ones, as I said before, is following up. How often are you following up? If you slide through to your bottom line, how much extra cash do you have available? The example I've just shown you is an extra $138,000 or a bit over $11,000 a month. So now I have a really important question for you. Run your report. What are your numbers? How much extra cash did you find? What's the impact for your business? And this, I've done this, as I said, well, personally in my business, there's been a bunch of other people who've used this around the world. Like I said, more than 400 reports. How much you're leaving on your business, on the cash on the table. So hopefully you've got some great ideas. So what do you want to do next? You can do this on your own. Great. I encourage you, go and put your prices up, whatever was most important to you. If you need some help, buy the book. You can get it on Amazon and Audible. You can download it. There's an audio version. If you want some further help, there's an online course that I have. You'll have to send me an email. But basically, you can complete the report, so find all of the cash you've got on the table, create your plan with this course, and then it's going to walk you through step by step. It's going to give you the tools, the checklist, the scripts, everything you need to do to find and put in place and make sure that you're not leaving any cash on the table. And you can jump into one of our group sessions that we have once every 2 weeks to answer all your questions and talk through what's happening in your business. So normally this is $895 to access this particular course, but as a bit of a thank you and for today, you can grab it for only $495. What you'll need to do is send me an email or get in touch with me. The points are down the bottom, and I'll give you more information on how to actually get that cash into your bank. So hopefully this has been valuable for you today. You've found some extra cash for your business. Look forward to your feedback. I would love to hear what extra cash you may have for your business so we can keep that running tally. As I said, we're up over $60 million in Australian dollars so far. Would love to know if you found extra cash in your business in another country. All the best. Bye for now.